Welcome to Vision Pros, the show all about spatial computing, visionOS, and getting work done on the Apple Vision Pro. I'm Tim Chen, host of the show. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Vision Pros. I'm thrilled to be joined by Justin Ryan, who does the Spatial Insider video series over on YouTube. Justin is someone that's just very plugged into this ecosystem of visionOS and the Apple Vision Pro. And in this episode, we dive into a bunch of different topics that I think you'll find of interest, including how he creates the awesome videos he makes over on YouTube and other platforms, a bunch of different apps that he's really into these days, discussion on, live immersive sports and the meta hyperscapes that he's been testing out, and lots of other topics that I think you'll find of interest. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so over at visionpros.fm/Patreon or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, here's my discussion with Justin. Enjoy. Welcome to this podcast, Justin.
Hey, Tim. Nice to meet you. Excited to be here.
You as well. So I've been kind of following your work. I kind of found you on Threads initially, and then I noticed LinkedIn's kind of a popular place for you to get it shared on as well. I guess just to start, so you do the Spatial Insider kind of video series. I guess first off, like social networks with visionOS, what's been your experience for where are the people most curious about this platform on?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's been fun over the last, maybe I'd say almost 2 years now, just watching the evolution of visionOS and how it's related or translated into social. And I would say that I actually started first on Twitter, now as X, and I found a community of people there. And then, I also see that typically one of the places where news breaks the fastest is usually on Reddit. Still Reddit.
Yeah.
Usually goes Reddit, then X, then Threads, LinkedIn are close follows after that.
Okay.
And then eventually YouTube and Facebook and the other socials. But I would say if you're looking for some of the latest beyond like certain social accounts, Reddit's a really good one. There's a pretty vibrant community inside of Reddit. I would say they're also a very passionate group. They're also don't hold back and don't hold any punches back. So for better or for worse, right? Like you get some thick skin inside of Reddit, but it also is a good place to find the new stuff and stuff that's going to be very likable.
Yeah, because I know one thing on visionOS is just app discovery it's kind of hard because there's the featured stuff and there's not really there used to be this API where you just get a pipeline of every new app that's coming out.
Yeah.
And now it's more of developers sharing this app's now out kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. I'd say when the Vision Pro first came out, I would spend literally hours going through the App Store on my Vision Pro and just typing in the letter A.
Yeah.
And scrolling through all the apps that started with A and doing that with each letter till I found something that I thought would be cool to try out. And so those were the early days. And since then, I found a tool called App Raven. And App Raven is great because you can filter based on the Apple device. And it does a pretty good job of showing you some of the latest apps. So sometimes I find apps from that. And then as I've been exploring this, shout out to all the amazing developers because they quite often will send me the project they're working on when it's still in test flight. So I've got an early indication of what's coming and I've had a chance to try it out before it's launched. And then even those that maybe didn't bring me along the journey in test flight, usually when they launch, I get an email or a message in my socials and I'll check it out. And at this point, we've got a lot of great apps. We've got some developers that are also trying some things that maybe are potential or notable. But there's a really good mix of apps today.
I remember before Portal, the PlayStation Portal app was a thing, but that third-party developer, I would search PlayStation once a week to see is there some good solution for this remote play on my PS5, and eventually Portal came up. It's oh, thank God, this is here.
And I have seen more concentrated effort from the App Store team on getting more updates. And quite often I'll see Apple get launched, and within a matter of days, that app is on the App Store. And so I just say maybe over the last 3 months, shout out to the App Store team because I have seen some more effort and energy being placed there. And I think as we get into the second half of this, or I guess this fourth quarter of this year, I'm expecting even some more dedication
Mm-hmm.
inside of the App Store. And I think we've got some amazing apps that are about to launch or updates to apps that are about to launch.
Awesome. Yeah, my biggest, I guess, disappointment with 26 updates is Widgetsmith had a visionOS app at launch, and
Yeah.
we got the new widget update, and no update yet. They've probably been hard at work at the glass update for the iPhone and stuff. I'm hoping it's not abandoned eventually when it slows down a bit. They can.
I hope so too.
They can do that.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think that's a pretty awesome app, and clearly they were ahead of the curve in terms of like cool use cases for the Vision Pro, and probably at this point maybe trying to figure out like how do we add value when it's natively built into
Mm-hmm.
Vision OS now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the Vision OS app on the iPhone has got to be one of my biggest disappointments still. I mean, the biggest thing is like, so 3D movies, I've been actually pretty impressed with the movie studios. If there's a 3D edition of a current movie, you're probably going to see it released. Like Disney has this weird habit of, if you want to buy it for $30 before it hits Disney Plus, you can do that, but you're not going to get 3D until it hits Disney Plus. So they've kind of de-incentivized premium purchases, which is kind of weird. And I just wait till Disney Plus hits, which I'm not sure if you've noticed this. Disney Plus, if you're an ad tier person, they haven't implemented ads in the visionOS app. So you can actually get Disney Plus ad free if you're just a visionOS user, which is kind of nifty.
Wow, I didn't know that about the ads. And you're right about the 3D movies. I actually, we purchased the How to Train Your Dragon, the new one, for my family. We watched it, I think, on Friday night, and then it was announced on Saturday that the 3D format was available through Apple TV. And I went to watch the 3D format, and because I had purchased it before it was available, I still have not been able to find a way to get access to the 3D format of that. Yeah, it's very strange.
iTunes Extras were the same way. It's like, oh, they're better about this now, but in the past, you used to pay the premium, and no iTunes Extras were there until it was like the regular price. Then they never get added to your account. Movies anywhere would have them. That's the hack for that. Is like there's no iTunes Extras on the visionOS at all. But most of those extras are in the Movies Anywhere app if that's available, which is a nice kind of way around it. But yeah, that's prevented me too. It's like it's not 3D yet. Let me just wait. It's just one might hit. I saw Tron last night, and I was excited to see. I saw an IMAX. I was excited to see in the end credits stereo conversion in 3D. It was like, oh, this is available in 3D, so I'll get to see that in Vision Pro when that hits, which is cool.
Wow. What'd you think of Tron? I know this is a tangent.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Tron? We went to it this
I had high
too.
expectations. I loved it. Because Tron Legacy, I probably saw like 10 times in theaters. Like, I just loved the music, visual experience of that movie, and they met my expectations. I was like kind of not sure.
Oh, I loved it. I thought going into it, I had heard such mixed reviews.
Yeah.
People were like, this is the worst movie ever. And then going into the theater, I saw a couple posts that were like, this was amazing. And so I kind of went in with like mixed feelings about it. And then watching the movie, it's probably one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, my seats were just vibrating. The speakers were on point at the IMAX screening.
Yeah, the soundtrack spot on. The creativity of the movie is amazing. So like I'm super excited to watch that in Vision Pro when that comes available.
Yeah, and there was like somewhat relevant stuff to our current like AI type thing we're going through. Yeah. It makes you want to watch the original again for the from what we had with that third one.
I don't want to do any spoilers, but just the way that they had fused the old movie into the new, very well done.
Yeah,
that was very cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I was surprised by the soundtrack. Like, it's no Daft Punk, but it fit the movie perfectly.
Yeah, I agree.
And the new 4K remasters they did, at least for Tron Legacy, this wouldn't be available in the original one, but it does the IMAX resolution aspect ratio change. So that's fun to watch in Vision Pro, where you get the full frame for that.
I'll have to check that out. That's also one of the coolest things about Vision Pro, right? You're not tied to a specific aspect ratio.
No, yeah, and it makes some movies just shine. It makes me long for more like some 4x3 movies, because they actually look pretty good in Vision Pro.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
My biggest point, so new movies are great coming in 3D, but old movies, like, why don't we have a Prometheus, Tron Legacy got the 4K upgrade, but that was a 3D movie. It's only new movies. It seems like they're not interested in, even if there were 3D movies, not bringing those out, which is hopefully that gets addressed at some point.
Yeah, I think eventually, once the current library has been like established and created, then they'll probably go back. It's probably just that, like, where are the users, what are they interested in today, and probably just whatever's more topical, more trending today. But
Yeah,
there's a lot of great old movies that I would love to see in 4K in an IMAX theater on my Vision Pro.
totally. Yeah.
And yeah, yeah,
And then the iPhone app, it's a disappointment because, oh, this app's going to just show me every 3D movie available on the platform. And
yeah.
it's not the case. It's the same thing with the App Store. It's like I'd love to just browse the entire visionOS App Store for my phone, but it's more like just here's our featured editorial content, which is okay, but it's lacking from what it could be.
Yeah, I very much agree that the app could be more robust. The way I look at it today is it's basically like it's a marker, an indication of what's to come.
Yeah.
And I do see that iOS will be a really good portal into visionOS, and the way that they achieve that like needs to start somewhere. And so I do think like this is more of an indication than a really viable, robust app today.
Mhm.
Right? I think it's
Yeah.
kind of a cool way to see what's available, but there could be a lot more in there, just how you're accessing apps and truly like searching for apps
Mhm.
and finding content.
Yeah.
I'm excited truly to see how they evolve each of their products, each of their OS to like maximize and leverage the capabilities and strengths of each other and not cannibalize each other as well. Like that's really got to be quite the balancing act, because you have really vibrant product lines you don't want to destroy with a new one. Clearly
No.
they've like thought through this. And but just watching that evolve over the next couple of years, I think it's gonna be pretty fascinating.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's also, it's the iPad and Mac kind of hitting up against each other a little bit, but the Mac will always be more unlocked, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the glasses and visionOS, and I don't know, kind of like an Apple Watch iPhone relationship, maybe.
Yeah, I agree.
So, can you share a bit on your background? Like, what made you kind of dive into Vision Pro? As I think Spatial Insider and kind of Vision Pro stuff is kind of is it your full time gig right now? Like, that's what you're
It is
creating. And,
yeah. Yeah, it hasn't always been that way. I'd say like if we go all the way back, my dad has been in tech since I was little. He had his own computer business and networking business, chip software developer, all of the things. And,
yeah,
he got me set up on all of the passion around Mac, because he had like the Mac World magazines coming to our house. We're looking through all of these things as I'm a kid. So I've always had this passion around technology. And then when I got into my early 20s, my wife and I started having kids, and there was a need to make money. And that actually got me
yeah,
into marketing and sales, less tech. And so for the last decade and a half of my life, I've been in sales and marketing. And I would say like my side quest has been just VR in general and
hmm
AI in general. And so I've had pretty much every Oculus or Meta Quest device that has come out. I was so passionate about the Quest 2 when it first came out that I actually bought one for each of my 6 siblings and shipped them to their houses because I was so excited for what that could unlock.
yeah,
And one of the few that bought the Quest Pro, right? And
right,
loved the eye
yeah,
tracking and all of that
uh-huh,
before they cannibalized that one with the Quest 3. And we had all heard that Apple was working on their headset for a decade, right?
hmm
And so each year something would come out of like, hey, it's coming this year, and then it wouldn't come out that year. And then I remember it being finally announced. I'm like, okay, I've got like 8 months to think about whether I'm going to purchase this thing, or 7 months whether I'm going to purchase this thing. And told myself, you know what, let's demo it before I actually purchase it. And then that pre-order hit, and I waited maybe 1 minute, and I was instantly buying that.
Yeah, it's funny. In the early days, we were all
first,
afraid they were going to sell out and be months before we could get our
yeah,
hands on them. And
yeah, that's right. So I was up at 5 a.m. getting that order
hmm
in, and then as soon as it got shipped, putting it on for the first time was unlike any other headset I've ever tried. Right?
yeah,
Yes, it has some flaws to it that people point out online, but at the same time, it's unlike any other product I've ever tried. I instantly fell in love with it. And then I also, inside of my circle, I didn't have anybody that also owned a Vision Pro, which led me to creating content, posting the content online, just because it was things that I thought
hmm
thought were cool, that others probably would find cool as well. And then I realized, hey, this social media stuff, there's like communities for anyone.
yeah,
And there's a community of Vision Pro enthusiasts out there. And so that's really like what started that whole path. The other thing that I think was genius from Apple is the way that you could easily screen share or do a screen recording
Mm-hmm.
and then AirPlay that, or AirDrop that to your iPhone and
Yep.
quickly upload it, right? Like that process through Meta back at that era in time was really clunky. It was really clunky to get a recording and be able to get the file of it, publish it. So Apple did a good job at that. And then, yeah, it's been fun over the last year and a half growing a community here and getting to meet a lot of amazing developers and people passionate about this space, and getting to connect more with Apple and with Meta, and being able to go to both of their big events this year at DubDub as well as
Mm-hmm.
Meta Connect, and finding what's unique and cool about each of them. And yeah, we'll see where the future goes. But I decided about a month and a half ago, this is what I want to do full time.
Yeah.
My passion has been here always, but I was needing to grow in my career in marketing and sales to get myself to a position where I felt comfortable enough to exit my old life and enter the new chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's both thrilling, and there's fear that comes in any sort of new adventure like this. But what I'll tell you is over the last 6 or 7 weeks since I made this choice, it's been some of the best moments of my life.
Yeah.
And truly being able to work on things that I find fun
Mm-hmm.
and I'm passionate about has been cool. So for anyone out there, I've had people message me of like, hey, should I take the leap of those things? Like I would just say, like, make sure that you're in a good position, that your family's in a good position. And if
Yeah.
you are, take the leap, because life's too short.
Yeah.
I know that was completely off of the
No.
main question, but that's just kind of how my life's evolved over the last, I'm almost 40, over the almost last 40 years I've been on this planet.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting close to that. Born in 87. So I
Okay.
always forget how old I am. After 35, it's like I'm just
I'm January of 86. So
okay. Yeah.
just a little before you. Yep.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And is kind of YouTube the main monetary place currently for kind of making this a living, as far as like YouTube ad revenue and all that?
Yeah, I wish I would have started with YouTube a lot sooner. I think mainly last year it was doing these 30-second to 60-second videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that was I had a day job. So being able to put too much time and energy in anything longer than that is challenging.
Especially visionOS
My time was
content.
limited.
Yeah.
Especially visionOS content. And I had visions of what I wanted to be like, and I wanted to create a good product, not just any product. And but it was really some prompting of some friends of like, hey, Justin, you should really start doing YouTube. You should also get on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And so I believe it was February of this year, after attending a visionOS conference, that I decided to create a LinkedIn, as I found out that's where all the developers were hanging out, was
Mm-hmm.
on LinkedIn. And it was probably around March or April when I decided, I'm going to commit to doing the Spatial Insider series and just sharing all of the latest apps, updates, news, things to watch on Vision Pro, visionOS. And that's been fun to see. That's grown much faster than I ever expected.
Yeah.
It's fun to go back and look at my old goals of like, hey, I hope to have like 500 subscribers by December. And it's
Right.
changed. It's grown
Yeah.
much faster than that. And I would say monetarily speaking, to your original question, it has been. I think it's one of the most clear, consistent ways to forecast and see what that payout's going to be. You see so much on the analytical side to really enhance your content, to focus on retention and attracting the user. It's a click platform, right? Versus
Totally. Yeah.
these other socials where you just scroll. And then I would say like X has gone through weird periods. I've had some really great, payouts through X, and then I've had periods where I've had almost the same amount of views,
Yeah.
but the payout's been a tenth of what it was. And so I think there's just not a lot of clarity there yet.
Right.
The reason I'm on X isn't for the dollars. It's really just because there's a great, vibrant community of people there.
Yeah.
And it's where I could share ideas, where I could get ideas. But usually for my YouTube, it's, hey, here's something that I really like that I think I could do a 5 to 10 minute video on. And so like a cool app, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Spatial Insider series, I try to have that somewhere between like a 8 to 12 minute video length. So I'll usually publish those when I feel like I have enough content to create a full episode that's going to be valuable for the audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of your videos, I discovered this app around the same time you did, Spatial Media Toolkit, because I was trying to figure out. I got the iPhone Air, and I was trying to figure out, okay, spatial content of my 3-year-old. I don't want to give that up. And then I discovered Spatial Media Tool because I was trying to figure out, is there actually a way to do this now without needing to capture natively? I was doing some test footage, and to my eyes, it looks better than the native iPhone 15 Pro native shot. Because iPhone, even the 17 Pro, even though it's a 48 megapixel camera, it's still 1080p 30 for
still 1080. Yeah,
it's wild they do that. And so you capture in 4K 60, and it converts from that. I think it looks better than the native stuff currently, which is wild to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Ryan who created the app. It's fast at converting the content or converting your videos. And yeah, that's the question that I've asked myself quite often. Like a year ago, I was sharing, hey, make sure you're capturing cool things in spatial because it makes it really cool to watch on your Vision Pro. But over the last maybe 6 months or so, I've evolved on that to capture it in 4K. And then convert it whenever you want to, if you would like to. And yeah, I'd love to see Apple come out with higher resolution for spatial if we're going to do that natively through the phone. But gosh, there's some really great options out there without needing to capture it in spatial.
Yeah. And I'm thinking it's not built into Apple's Photos app because they're concerned about how long it takes to convert each video. And a third-party app is less concerned about that because they know you want that.
That's a really great point. I think you're right.
Yeah, and they have an iPhone app. The thing I wish they would change with the iPhone iPad app, because my iPad's faster, it's the M4 or whatever. I wish they would have the values. Like I want to know I'm converting at 0.5 3D depths versus that just general slider. Because it's kind of hard because I kind of know where I'm tuned in for what figures I like for certain videos. And it's really nice in the Vision Pro having that live preview before you export.
I agree with you. That dial's awesome on Vision Pro. He actually just came out with an update. I haven't tested it yet. I've just seen some videos as recent as this morning where you could upload dozens of photos all at the same time and it converts them into spatial photos. So you can have basically like your spatial gallery on your Vision Pro, that app that Apple came out with. You can basically have your own spatial gallery with all of these photos open around you, spatial photos. It looks really cool. So I'll be checking out that later this week.
You'll have to try that out because I love the iPhone Air now that, I was able to justify actually, I don't need that. Let me just do this. Yeah.
Can I, on that Apple Air, something that caught my eye that I haven't heard people talk about yet, like the selfie camera, Apple's new selfie camera, right? That's capturing in a square format.
Right.
And like really great resolution, whether it's vertical or horizontal. I honestly think that was created not just for the iPhone. I think that was created also for eventual glasses. Yeah. Because when you think about it, one of my challenges I have right now with my Meta glasses is it's stuck in that 9:16 format, right? And the new ones I can capture in 3K, so I can zoom in a little bit. But I do think that's the future of being able to capture it in a square. And then that way, if you want to export as a 9:16 or a 16:9, there's no resolution loss, right? And so I do see that as being more than just the iPhone. And then you also think about it's smart enough to capture if there's one person in frame or 5 people in frame and expanding that frame to match. I think that's also going to be important.
Because in the glasses, you don't want to be framing the shot. You want it kind of doing it for you almost.
You want it to do it for you. Exactly. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like,
Air,
that's probably what
the whole guts being so miniaturized and in the bump of the camera, it's like, as it gets smaller, it's easy to put in the glasses.
The iPhone Air to me is Apple glasses.
I was joking.
Like
it's
prior edition. Yeah.
They should make an iPhone that's just the camera bump of the 15 Pro, and make a nano iPhone, just a really tiny little.
The camera and the bump of the camera are actually thicker than the phone itself.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
It's bizarre. Yeah. As far as your workflow for doing these videos, I'm just impressed at the output you get because you really do capture what it's like to use these apps, which is hard to do. I try to do a screenshot, I'm looking the wrong direction, it's not level, and then you create these videos that are just like perfect. Like I don't know, like how do you have to do multiple takes? Have you figured out kind of the process for? You're on the Mac probably for the captures to get full resolution with the developer strap, and what's kind of the process these days?
No, actually, I just capture it through headset only. Okay. And I'm always thinking when I'm capturing okay, it's filming on the left-hand side. So I'm going to try and just angle a little bit to the left to try and
Do you
center.
like close one of your eyes to see, make sure you're looking at the right thing?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
sometimes I do.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of figured out where the window placement's at in terms of like the right framing. So the depth of the window from you as the user.
Hmm.
And then I will usually capture the same scene, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 times.
Yeah.
So that way, when I go back and post, I can find the one that I really, really like. And so I'd say for a 30-second video, I'll probably have 20 minutes worth of footage.
Huh.
And that's really been like the time consuming part. As you go through, you put it in there, you edit it down. Your first version's probably like 5 to 10 minutes, and then you whittle it down
Hmm.
to a minute. And then you're like, okay, I don't need this scene, this scene, this scene. And I found the sweet spot about 30 seconds. And someone shared this analogy with me, which I really, really like. And it was basically talking about like on your social platforms like Threads and X, you're going at like 120 miles an hour is like how fast people are traveling. Whereas on YouTube, people are going like 25 to 30 miles an hour. And so your content needs to be built to move fast and move with the flow of traffic. So if it's on X or Threads, it's got to be 120 miles an hour, which means it's probably going to be a 30-second clip.
Yep.
Right? Or on YouTube, that could be a 10-minute clip, and you can maybe slow down in how you're looking at the camera and talking with the camera. But even that, there's still some speed that's expected.
Hmm.
Don't waste people's time. Move quickly, but it is
Yeah.
definitely a different speed. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost wish there was a accessibility mode of just turning off one of your eyes to pretend you're like have an eye patch, so your
Yeah.
captures could be in mono almost, like you could see. Yeah.
I've seen too, some concepts out there. I think maybe in the first couple of months the Vision Pro came out, people had even a couple apps on the App Store for these, where it actually put the box out there of what was being captured.
Yeah.
Right. And I do wish, on one hand, like when you're doing a video recording through the Vision Pro, how you have the vignette around the actual capture, right? In video or in the photos. I think it'd be really nice actually to have that same type of effect when you're doing a screen grab or
Yeah.
screen share, screen recording. Yeah.
And then you edit your videos on Final Cut Pro, is that right? From the
Yeah.
And then Apple Vision Pro for the virtual display and all that.
Yeah, that's right. Typically, if I'm here at home or I've got my Mac handy, Final Cut. I'll also say CapCut itself is also pretty good. And so
Okay.
there's a lot of times when I'm on the road and I just airdrop it to my iPhone. I'll do a quick edit in CapCut.
Nice.
And I'll upload through there. So
Yeah.
in some ways, there's more features in CapCut than there are in Final Cut. And then there are just some things I really like about Final Cut that doesn't exist in CapCut. So after doing a lot of videos, really start to figure out like, okay, am I going here or there for this specific video? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried, I know this is something you don't publish really, but 3D content and other types of content that would be weird to kind of edit on a normal display? Like I think, was it DaVinci Resolve? Is that native 3D editing where you can actually see in the Vision Pro the 3D output? Is that, I'm trying to remember if it's accurate or not.
That from what I've read, that's the case.
Yeah.
I have not tested it out. My understanding is after you've made the edit or while you're making the edit, there's like a button that you can click that basically is going to push it to your Vision Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can view your edits through your Vision Pro in that spatial format. But I think it's less like editing while you're in that format. I think it's you make the edit, then you push it, look at it, go back to your timeline and edit.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's my understanding. I could be completely wrong, but that's my interpretation of it. Yeah.
Right. And then have you been tempted to get any action cameras, those 360 cameras now that we have that built in the visionOS? I'm looking at those cameras. It's like, oh man, I kind of want one of those now.
My wife and I, we have 6 kids, so we're Costco shoppers here. And every time you walk into Costco, what do they have up front? It's those 360 cameras, and there's 3 or 4 different ones of them. I've played with 360 cameras in the past. I've had the Insta360. I've had the GoPro. I actually even have the DJI drones, and I've flown those up with the 360.
Yep.
But my cameras now are probably 2 or 3 years old, and I know there's these 8K ones out there today.
GoPro just came out with like a brand new, the Max 2, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one looks beautiful. So I definitely want to try that out. I know any 360 footage I've watched inside of the Vision Pro is amazing. I get The
Hmm.
ones that Apple demoed, the parasailing and
Yep.
skiing and all those things.
Hmm.
It just makes me, there's been actual times over the last 2 months where I've been like, gosh, I wish I would have had the 360 camera. Like my kids and I, we went, it's not surfing, it's the bodyboarding,
Hmm.
off the Oregon coast. And after we were done, I remember just thinking like, gosh, it was such a beautiful day today. And if I had just had
Hmm.
this GoPro mounted on my head, capturing 360, I
Yeah.
could go back and revisit this moment with my
Yeah.
kids. And that's the beauty of Vision Pro. You really do feel like you're there again.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. When I lived in Hawaii when I was like a decade ago, and I had the GoPro 2 back then. And GoPro actually sent me a second one because I emailed them or whatever, and they sent me the 3D kit back then. So I've got some 3D footage of back then of me like in the water and hiking and stuff. It looks just terrible compared to today's standards. So it's kind of cool.
At the moment, it was probably amazing. I
Yeah.
remember,
Yep.
one of the challenges back then too was just getting your files in a place where you could edit them and go
Hmm.
through, and that was kind of clunky.
It
And my
was.
understanding is that process has gotten a lot easier and better than it was, but that was my challenge with 360 cameras in the past is, okay, I've captured all this footage. Now what do I do with it? And do I literally have hours to go back and scroll through everything to put the camera placement where I actually am interested to look,
Yeah. You almost
Yeah.
need like this would be great use of AI. Like AI edit this into a enthralling little video that
Yeah,
you know what's focusing, looks good, and all that. Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Um, as far as Meta, I have PlayStation VRs, and that's like my gaming console thing. So I've got the VR 1 and 2 from PlayStation, and love those headsets for gaming. And MetaQuest has always seemed like a game console, but in one of your recent videos about the Meta Hyperscapes, that seemed pretty interesting, and it seems like there might be other non-gaming things I'm just like ignoring. So like I'm thinking of them as a gaming console. Like, what can Apple learn from Meta as far as things outside of gaming?
Yeah, I think what Apple did right, well, they did a lot of things right, but one of the things I think they figured out is these really need to be spatial computers versus VR gaming devices
Mm-hmm.
to really have a future. I know when I would hop into my Meta Quest device and I would be any sort of social experience, social app, social game, it was usually me surrounded by a lot of 13-year-olds, that just
Yep.
number one, they were much better at the game than I was. Number two, I didn't want to have my kids on that game just because the language wasn't, the nicest and
Yes.
the best. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking like, gosh, if I'm someone in my 30s and above, is this really the experience that I want to have? And so Apple came in, it's a computer, it's not a gaming device only, where that's been Meta's success, but now they're having to pivot. And one thing that stood out to me in the Meta Connect events, some of their keynotes was just how much of the engagement they're seeing in the mixed reality version of Quest
Mm-hmm.
in their Horizon OS. They highlighted like their TV app and how users are choosing to have the window in their physical space versus being in a virtual environment. And then how much their software is really starting to look like visionOS, right? Their apps, how their load screen comes up, their app icons, the windows that are popping up now. It's really starting to evolve into visionOS. I'll give Meta a lot of credit here too for innovating and trying a lot of things out. So I'll tell you, like being there was definitely a lot of excitement and like a lot of dollars going into the space. And one of the things, to your point, that I really was impressed with were the hyperscapes.
Mm.
Like I got back, I uploaded to the betas, I captured my office, I captured our front room, the piano room, and then you wait about 5 hours or so
Okay.
for it to do its magic
S-
after you capture it.
like a server
And
side
then
render, it's doing up
that's
there. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So you're capturing it with your Quest 3. Takes, I would say the scans took probably 10 to 20 minutes, depending on the room size and how much detail you really want to capture.
And the
Then you,
cameras in the MetaQuest,
yeah.
and the Vision Pro cameras are, I think, pretty terrible for what they are. Are they better in the MetaQuest as far as the quality, or are they just doing that server side?
Cameras in Vision Pro are better
They
than
are
the Meta
okay.
Quest. They
Yeah.
are. I think the magic is in the rendering, the server
Okay.
rendering,
Yeah.
because you're capturing it, you're then uploading it. Then it says this could take 8 hours, and then it sends you a
Hmm.
notification to your phone through their Meta app when it's been completed. And so hopping in there, you have the option by pushing one button on the controller and it toggles between the hyperscape and your reality. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's almost identical. It's enough that I wish I could go back in time and capture all of the places I've lived,
Yeah,
like my
like a
old home
childhood
growing up,
home. I can
my
right?
grandparents'
Mm-hmm.
homes, the apartment I had in Brazil, like all of these things,
Yeah.
and being able to pull them up. And because not only is it 360 around you, you can walk around in that hyperscape, right?
And then it
So
just warns you
I
when you're about to hit a wall from its
that's
sensors or
right.
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
It
Okay.
warns you when you're about to hit a wall. And you could just literally walk around. And then I've seen some hyperscapes that people have captured from outside, and it's capturing also the horizon.
Huh.
So it's not just the immediate, it's the extended. And so yeah, that's one thing I think Apple, I hope that they take and
Mm-hmm.
they create the Apple version of that, because there's something magical about having, I don't know, here's a weird thought I've had. I think with these headsets, there's been a lot of, like, the naysayers will say, like, why don't you just enjoy reality versus virtual reality? And through this whole
Mm-hmm.
passion, this whole process, what I've actually figured out from this is how magical reality actually is. Because
Yeah.
to recreate reality, there's a lot that needs to go into just creating what we take for granted every single day, our
Mm-hmm.
actual reality. And it helps you understand reality in a way that you probably would never understand if you weren't trying to recreate it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
And probably like deep and, I don't know, cheesy, but I found myself thinking about that, even just how we look, how our world looks. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. And to
Mm.
recreate it's not easy. And so I think Hyperscapes is a good example of what's to come. And that is that we've got all of these amazing worlds. Any simulation that we want to go into, any place that we want to go to, you could teleport there. And I do think the next part of Hyperscapes that I'm really looking forward to is not being solo, but being multiplayer. Right. So I think one of the challenges they've had is when you're in a shared space, you're in this cartoony looking world, doesn't feel
Yeah.
like life. But if all of a sudden you teleport here into my office and it
Mm-hmm.
looks exactly like my office and we're both here hanging out together, whether you're here physically or digitally, it'll feel almost the same.
Yeah. Are they working on a persona like realistic avatar versus the current ones they use?
Yeah, very much so. They showed their codec avatars years ago, but that process, my understanding is it required them, like Zuckerberg had to go inside of a studio with 100 billion cameras and capture it, and it took hours to process and create, and took a lot of magic to make it look that great. My understanding is they're on the verge of sharing an updated version of their avatar
Yeah.
that will be close to what we see with personas and visionOS. And I do think that's important. And one thing I've been sharing lately that I think is also important for Meta to put natively into their OS is occlusion. Like, I want to see my hands. One of
Yeah.
the things after I've been in Vision OS and I go back into Horizon OS with Meta, I go to like touch a window and the controller pops up. The little, laser line from the
Yeah,
controller
yeah.
pops up, or the virtual hand pops up. Like, I want to see my hand. And so I think occlusion needs to be something that they really look at. And I think Apple's going to have full body occlusion. It's already part of ARKit on
Mm-hmm.
iPhone.
The
There's no
white
reason
the
why.
the white hands of Vision OS 26 when it's dark is kind of cool. It
Yeah,
works
that is
surprisingly
cool
well. Yeah.
at night. Yeah. I remember, I think it maybe been 6 months or so, and we were just laying in bed. The room was completely dark, and I could still operate my Vision Pro, and it could track what I was going to.
Yep.
But it's gotten so much better now. Like,
Yeah.
then it was a little hit and miss, but just hit and miss was cool in complete
Yes.
darkness. But now the way that it works is night and day difference. No pun intended, but night and day
Yes.
difference and how
Yes.
much better it's gotten. Yeah.
My only problem is lights go off. My widgets do not like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Widgets, yeah. There's still some things with widgets that are definitely being refined, and that's one of them for sure.
As far as the VR controllers, the PSVR 2 controllers, I have them because I have the headset. I wonder,
Yeah.
like, are those? We waiting for an event this month with the M5 Vision Pro, and that'll when they'll hit. You think?
I
For
think they'll be
individual
lined
sale?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll see those. And I was back in the Apple Store just 2 weeks ago and saw the PlayStation DualSense controllers there, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought, like, it's not going to be long, and we'll have these, these will be add-on accessories that you could purchase just through App Store and in person. And yeah, I do think it's going to line up with the M5. That's my guess.
With the M5 potentially, Apple Vision Pro, what are your hopes with this one? Like for me, it seems like a future-proofing move. I think it seems like most developers would still need to target the M2 because of the user base, and I'm not sure how many will be eager to upgrade with the expense of the Vision Pro. Like it's something people want to use for many, many years, I'd imagine. And like, would Apple add any brand new features just for that hardware potentially? What are your thoughts with the M5?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'd say it could be also a loaded question just because there's so much that could go into that. And,
Yeah.
I do find there's a lot of Vision Pro users that I meet with that'll say things like, I don't know why I would need an M5. The M2 seems to be doing just fine. And I would say that tends to be individuals that they're using their headset mainly for watching content. Maybe it's the 3D movies they really like, the Apple Immersive content, maybe some limited apps, doing the iPad apps inside of their headset. And then when I meet with a lot of developers and those that are really looking at this from that pro lens, they're really asking for more processing capabilities,
Yeah.
more headroom. And I think we've all experienced this, once you start getting into like a 3D heavy environment, maybe you've got a lot of 3D models open, or you're in a immersive environment, you can start to feel it heating up. You can start to tell
Put
like
your hand over there.
yeah.
Yep.
I've met people that literally get like the ice bags out of their freezer. They're putting up, to kind of cool their device. And so I think number one will be more headroom on the processing side so that we can have more extended time in the immersive environment.
You could probably do longer video captures locally on the device without it saying.
Yeah.
Because you probably run into that, right? Where it's like, I'm just going to stop recording because it's too much right now.
Yeah, I haven't seen it on the recording side, but I've definitely found it when I'm recording and I've got a really heavy 3D immersive environment going on. That's definitely been a thing. When you've got like a shared experience happening, right? And you've got multi-users trying to look at the same 3D world or objects, that can be challenging right now. So I think that's going to unlock quite a bit of things. To me, iOS, the liquid glass, that was inspired by visionOS from everything I've read.
Yep.
Now I think it's time for visionOS to get what iOS
Yeah, because
has.
we don't have glass. It's like transparency, but it's definitely not the glass.
Yeah, I think anyone that sees the glass that have played with a Vision Pro understand like that's ultimately where we're going to go, because it just seems like it was built for Vision Pro even more so than iOS at this point. So I'd love to see. I'm not expecting that with the M5 introduction. I would say it'd probably be tabled for like a future dub of, hey, if you're on the M5 and later, you also get like liquid glass. I could see something like that, but I think they would maybe delay that so you don't feel like if I just bought the original version of Vision Pro, I'm already missing out on a feature.
Yes.
But I think like 6 months or a year from now, you could come out with that and everyone would feel comfortable with that, excited by that. I think also when you look at like the battery performance of an M4 over an M2, it's definitely better with the battery performance. I think an M5 over an M2, you could get better battery life. There's a whole bunch of things. And I think for me, I'll be watching closely if it's more than the M5. Like, do we get the R2 chip? Do we get more memory? What does the camera configuration look like? Like, I think those things are also going to be really important.
Yeah, imagine if the camera's got any sort of optic upgrade, like at night and even during the daytime, just making it look more realistic with what the cameras can output.
Could be really big. Yeah. And, I went to a Apple developer conference. I think it was the one in February, and they were talking about creative storytelling with the Vision Pro. And they were also sharing with us just how much goes into creating one of their Apple immersive environments. And it's wild, all of the work that they put in just to making sure that it's fitting within the constraints of the current processor.
Yeah.
Right. When that starts to change, I think we start to see more interactive environments like we see with Jupiter. Like that one is really cool, the way that you can play around with it. Like how awesome would it be to have like the Bora Bora environment instead of just the night and day toggle? I'm looking at like the tides coming in and out, and I'm messing around with those things, the weather inside of that scene. Like that would be pretty phenomenal. But I think there's just a lot of things that this could unlock. I also looked at like things like Blender, on an M2 Mac versus an M4 Mac. M4 is so much better when you go into creating 3D models, 3D assets, and the rendering and shadows, all of those things. I think we could see some more there. So even occlusion, I think, could get even better than it already is on the M2.
Yeah, Spatial Media Toolkit would be another thing. You're
Yeah,
exporting this long video in
yeah,
3D. That'll be much better there.
yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and one thing with the battery, I'm now on my third battery cable. Do you ever run into this? I don't know if I'm storing it in the additional travel case, but eventually the inner cable pokes through the fabric, and I've got this like 90-degree thing. It just stuck out there, and I'm on my third cable. Thank you, AppleCare. But
Yeah, I've seen videos online of them like frayed and things.
yeah,
Mine, I'm still on my original, and I use mine daily, and it still
yeah.
looks great. So I don't know
I don't
what it
know
is.
what
I
I'm doing
usually
with it. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I usually put the iPad or the battery, the Vision Pro battery on my left pocket, front pocket, or back
Yep.
pocket. And then for traveling, I actually went out and purchased the Belkin travel kit, like
Okay.
travel bag.
Yeah.
And for anyone who hasn't tried that one yet, highly recommend it. It's much smaller profile than the original Marshmallow
Mm-hmm.
Vision Pro case.
Astronauts going
More
flying from the
pockets so you
moon.
could put things in
Yep.
there. So that one's been game changer. I also use my Vision Pro often, almost always, unless it's an immersive thing I'm looking to do, but almost always with the Ana Pro 2 strap.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows me to literally use my Vision Pro for hours without feeling fatigued, without any pressure on the front of my face. And I think that leads actually into something I've been thinking about lately too is, there's been so many rumors around, hey, Apple's shelved the lighter, cheaper Vision Air product. And I think at the end of the day, if the two pain points that users are experiencing are price and comfort, weight being one of, if you
Mm-hmm.
could solve for those, Apple can control the price. Yes,
Yep.
there are some limits into how much they can control the price, but they can control the price.
And
And I
things
think
get
they could
cheaper over time.
things get cheaper
Not
over
normally
time.
with Apple, but they
Yeah.
do. Their margins do get better.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you intentionally price the product into a range where you knew it would limit how many people would get into it early, so that you could minimize maybe everyone's impression of this product until you had established an ecosystem. I think that 3500 was intentionally done, not just because of the price of the components, but they knew what band of people would be interested at that price
Mm-hmm.
point. A lot of professionals. And then if you could figure out the comfort side of things with this, talk about this dual loop head strap that people have been talking about, the
Yeah.
rumors out there right now. I'm really curious to see what that looks like, because if you can figure out the comfort and if you have some options with pricing, then I think you really, at least for today, solve some of the biggest pain points. And then that gets you into the future where I do believe still we're going to get lighter, more affordable headsets than we currently have and will have with the M5. But I'm really curious to see what that band is going to be like, the dual band. And I'm really curious to see what they do with price. Like if we stick around that 3,500 price point, to me, that's going to be a sign of they're still saying we have some more build out to do before we bring in,
Yeah, it'd be
before we
interesting
open the
if
floodgates.
the M5 starting at, 2,099.99. I don't know if they drop at 500 or something.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
say.
If we get in the twos, even if it's the 2.9, for most people, it doesn't sound like a lot. But when you start, the enterprise level, when you start buying dozens of headsets or hundreds of headsets, that matters.
Yeah.
And I do think psychologically, people look at things above a 3 different than they do in the twos. So I'm going to be watching price really, really close to see what that comes in at. And then I'll also be watching to see if they have any sort of trade-in options from those that have the original looking to get the M5.
Yeah. Something better than the
I
Apple Watch where it gives you like
Yeah.
pennies for what you paid for it.
$130 or something for my
Yeah.
for my Apple Watch.
Yeah.
I will be curious of that. I do plan on keeping my Generation 1 just because I think it's always going to be something.
Special.
It'd be like
It's like
having
the
the
original
original
iPhone.
iMac.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original iPhone. I've still
Mhm.
got the original iPhone. It's got a broken screen from when I broke it 6 months into having it. But to me, that's a piece of history. So
Yeah,
I won't be trading in my original, but
I have 2 original iPhones, the one I used, and then around the iPhone 4 time, I was like, let me try to track down another original iPhone that's still running iOS 1. So I've got another original iPhone running iOS 1.0.2, and it's such a wild thing to boot that thing up because the interface just even, within those couple first years changed so much. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it's wild. Yeah, I look back on that time of there wasn't even an app store,
No.
right?
And
Like you were limited to those apps.
they used text so heavily in their back buttons, like a very long descriptor of what this does and things like that.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. And then I remember, just photos, no videos,
Mm-hmm.
but there were apps that you could download that would capture AKA video, but it was
Yes.
literally like, I don't know, 5 frames per second video
Yep.
footage, and the quality was. But the cool thing about that is I've got videos of my kids when they were babies with these videos, through the
Yeah.
original iPhone. That was just so cool to me.
Yeah.
So,
And I gotta say, the Belkin head strap, it solved all my comfort issues. I was struggling with it for a while, did all
awesome.
sorts of aftermarket things, and then I tried the Belkin one. It's like, this is solid. This makes me, I can use it all day or whatever, and it works
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what Apple
Yeah,
does. Like, is it better, or is it just like the same thing, but just, first party?
Yeah, I'm really curious of that too, because I find that different head straps work differently for different people,
Yeah, head shape's a huge
right?
thing, and probably hair
Head
and no
shape's a
hair.
huge thing. Hair, yeah. And I've heard that many times. People have like, you're lucky you don't have hair because and a Pro 2 with it being there in the front works just fine for me. And
Yeah.
I do think like for us to reach like real true mass adoption of this ecosystem, we've got to figure also the gender piece to this too.
Yeah, if you have
Right? Like
makeup
when
on, right? That's got to be a thing.
Yeah.
Because you have
Yeah.
makeup all over the face piece. Like, I can't imagine that being a good experience.
Yeah, when I look at the demographics, for my content, it's 99% male,
Mm-hmm.
right? And though there are some really incredible female developers and female users out there, but I know for my wife, when I'm like, hey, you should try this experience, she's like, like, so we've got to figure that out. And I think,
Yep.
I don't know if it's a band or what it is, or maybe eventually it's with the glasses, but I do think you're right. Like, do you want to mess up your hair and your makeup? If the answer is no, how do we solve for that with the current configuration? And we gotta figure that piece out.
Yeah. So the Vision Pro came out when my daughter was like 1. And it was like the perfect age for like, she's like at night, she's just sleeping on my chest for like, hours on end, and I'm just stuck in this chair upstairs. And then when she's passed out, it's like we put this on, I can actually be browsing the web and doing things that like otherwise, like I don't want to be holding up my iPad and like drop it or something. And Vision Pro is like such a nice form factor for like you're stuck in a chair with the little baby.
That's such a good point. Yeah, I think people will think this is nerdy, but honestly, like some of my favorite use cases with the Vision Pro are like doing household chores. You're walking around the house, you need both hands, whether it's dishes or mowing the lawn,
Yep.
whatever the case. And there's just something magical about, hey, I'm doing the dishes, but I've got this 100-inch screen. I'm watching this movie in 3D. I can still see my hands. I can still wash these dishes. I can still mow the lawn and have this giant screen over there.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool. Anyone who's
It's
actually tried
super
that,
cool.
it's so cool. Yeah.
I learned the hard way eating with, you don't want mushy food. So I was having some chili, and what's this? Oh crap! I overshot and didn't even realize for a little bit. I cleaned it all out, but you gotta be careful of the oatmeals and all the mushy stuff.
Yeah. Shoot. Yeah. The other thing is, even just going outside and shooting hoops, like playing basketball.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm not running around and
Right.
doing spin moves and anything crazy, but just to go out and shoot free throws, play pig with the kids, those sort of things, like that's pretty cool. And you could have the NBA game going while you're
Right.
out
Yeah.
there. I don't know about you, but like whenever I'm watching sports, I just instantly want to also be doing sports. And so if I'm watching basketball, I want to go shoot some hoops while I'm watching basketball.
Yeah, totally.
I do think it's tangent on that, but I'm really excited to see what we get with Major League Sports, and super excited for the announcement with the NBA and the live immersive sports through the Vision Pro. When you talk about getting more adoption into this ecosystem, if I could be courtside, and many people have tried courtside through a Meta device, like the X Stadium app, I think is amazing. I've watched many games through that app. It's really well done, but it's not Apple immersive video quality. And to be sitting courtside at a Lakers game and Apple immersive
there will be Lakers
quality,
fans that buy it for that.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Now, do we know the details of access? Because like I'm trying to watch like this the Major League Baseball playoffs, and it's like, okay, I've got MLB at bat. No, you don't. You need actually to pay more because like it's special playoffs. What's the situation with this? Am I going to need some Comcast subscription to actually watch this stuff?
Yeah, the press releases, I read through the footnotes on that one. So we'll find out, first of all, schedule will be announced later this fall for the games that will be live immersive next
Hmm.
year.
Okay.
And then it will be a combination of either the NBA app or the Sportsnet app. My
Okay.
my understanding is if you're in the Lakers market, you'll need the Sportsnet app because when you go into like NBA media rights, there's so much nuance
Yeah,
to it of
yeah.
who owns what.
I'm in the New Hampshire, so like Boston
Okay, so
games are hard. But
you're probably going to go through the NBA app would be my
okay,
guess. I'm in Washington State, so I believe I'd do the NBA app as well. So I my belief is from what I read, those that are in the US will watch it through the NBA app unless you're in
okay.
that market would be the Sportsnet.
Yep.
And then outside of the US, from my understanding is you'll still have access to the games, but they might be the day after or 2 days
Mm.
after.
Okay,
But it's the full game replay
that's
and
cool.
also highlights in immersive video. Whereas I think in the US through the NBA app, you'll get live and the ability to go back and rewatch
Okay.
the replay. Yeah,
So the NBA app, that means I won't need the live Comcast. I can just pay NBA the $120 a year, whatever it is. I think.
that's
Right.
right. It comes through
Okay.
the NBA League Pass subscription.
Yeah, and that's a solid Vision Pro
It's
app.
great.
Like all the
Yeah.
I've done when it came out. I don't know, watched like 10 games through that. It's like it's pretty cool with all the live stats and stuff next to the screen, and
I
you can
keep
see the
saying
previews underneath of the different games going on too. Yeah.
I keep saying the NBA team. Let me just do a couple recordings so people can actually see how amazing this is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you've got four games going at the same time and you've got that tabletop view of the players in 3D,
Yeah.
it's so cool, but it's hard to show that on a video when you can't show the video running at the same time that the court's going. But I'm really excited to see what the NBA does this year, not just with the immersive like live video, but also with that tabletop view. It's so
Yeah.
cool. And the more you look at that, you realize the tracking on that, it's not like a video game tracking. It's actually tracking the player's actual movements
Mm.
in real time, down to like how their hand is moving.
Yeah.
Like the twist of their wrist is being tracked and watched. And
Yeah.
so I hope this year we see like the players actually look like the players, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I think that'll be really cool because when you get really close to the players on the Vision Pro, you are the camera basically. You put
Yeah.
yourself wherever you want on the court.
Mm. Yeah. With Apple's move to glasses, um, we talked about people have said they're moving on from the Vision Air for the moment, which seems my main concern with Apple is how limited their staff seems to be with like their top. I guess they're people that are capable of doing the Vision Air and the glasses are the same people, and they don't have anyone else to help out with this project. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, my thoughts on that would be I don't believe the rumors as like the tweets as they were created.
Yeah.
I do know that, them saying things like, hey, now they're, like 4 months ago, it was, hey, they're going to do this lighter, cheaper Vision Air product. And now they're saying they're not going to do it. It's going to be shelved, at least for now. I go back to a year ago and some of the conversations I had, the questions I was being asked then of like, how are you finding the headset to be more comfortable with the current configuration? Which to me told me of like, we probably have another iteration of the same styled weighted headset,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe thinking through that. And then eventually we get to a lighter version of it. So any sort of rumor of like, hey, Apple has gone off track because now they're just coming out with the same thing. Like my understanding is that was already the thing a year ago.
Yes.
And then I think on the glasses project and AI specifically, there were rumors that came out 9 months ago saying, hey, Apple was shelving the Vision Pro line. They're moving all of their top talent onto their Surrey project. Do you see those
Yeah,
articles?
that was actually it's like I had faith in visionOS as like the direction of the platform because man, what's that guy's name? It's escaping me.
Mike Rockwell.
Yeah, Mike Rockwell. It's like this guy
Yeah.
seems to have a vision for where he wants visionOS to go, and like the iPad doesn't have that. The iPad's kind of been floundering. This year's been good, but there's no direction for iPad. And like, oh, visionOS has a direction. So I'm hoping Mike still can have a direction, even working on Siri stuff.
Yeah. So for me, when I saw those rumors, it was not that they were canceling or moving away from visionOS. It was, we've got a really good foundation in Vision
Mm-hmm.
Pro and visionOS. We're going to continue to keep amazing, talented people there, because what we've also seen is visionOS 26 came out.
Yep.
Updates are coming out almost weekly. I mean, literally today we got another update after last week getting an update. So those are still going at the same time. I think what probably occurred to the internal team, and this is me is just speculating 100%.
Yeah.
But the more you're in this space, you realize the immersion, like what AI can do for an immersive experience, just creating an immersive experience. Everything could be AI created. And then you also look at what Meta's AI assistant is capable of doing and the limitations right now with Siri. You've got to figure out Siri to make Apple glasses work.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to figure out Siri to truly unlock visionOS and what it can do immersively.
Right. And
Right. So
Mike
to
was
me, that was actually,
frustrated with what he could do with visionOS because Siri wasn't where he wanted it to be.
that's what I read too.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so I think like that to me was actually more of a bullish indication of they're taking it seriously for both Vision Pro and for possible glasses project. And
Mm-hmm.
I love my Meta glasses. I wish I had Apple glasses all the time, because
Sure.
if I could tie my glasses into my Apple ecosystem, that'd be a game changer. So I think we'll have both. And I think over time, we actually start to see them converge where it makes sense to converge, right?
Mm-hmm.
There'll be things that you could do on a light, smaller display on a glasses that you could also do on a larger display on a Vision Pro product. But then you can't create immersive, true feeling of immersion on glasses unless you put
No.
blinders on those glasses, which is going to look dorky.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have still two product types or groups, and then some crossover. Just like right now, if you think about it, there's apps that work on your Mac, your iPad,
Mm-hmm.
your iPhone. Doesn't mean that the Mac's going away because we have an iPhone, or that the
No.
iPad's going away because we have an iPhone. So I think we'll also see that in the Visions product group,
Yeah.
and glasses could be part of that product group.
And you've tried out the Meta display glasses?
I
They're
have,
shipping now?
yeah. 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 I tried those the day they announced them, stood in line, I think, for 3 hours to check those out. But I would say the 3 hours was well worth it.
Yeah.
When I first put it on, it took me a little bit, probably about a couple minutes, just to recognize what's actually happening, right? So it's a screen in your bottom right lens, just
Okay.
one lens.
Yeah.
And it takes your eye a little bit to train on it because it's so close to your eyeball. You're looking down there. But it's
Yeah,
amazing
so that would be near vision, right? So if you need distance, it wouldn't matter if you need distance prescription.
That's right.
You're actually looking up close. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which is
near
weird with Vision Pro, because the Vision Pro, the lenses are up close, but it's simulating far away. So even if you can read up close, you still need far away prescription for what that's doing. It's eyes are weird. Like it's weird how like it can it's like the Vision Pro stuff, it's up close, but it feels like it's not to your eyes. Yeah.
I agree. I think that's a tangent. Maybe I'll come back on that one.
Yeah.
On the Meta glasses specifically, I love how they've also created it with the band where you tap your thumb and your index finger together, you double tap, and that actually brings up the screen. You double tap and the screen goes away.
Yeah.
So it's not always there, especially if you don't need it. But if I want it, I just double tap. My hand could be in my pocket. I double tap, it pops up.
Yeah.
I could be literally texting you right now with my hand in my pocket. People would have no idea. Like that to me is so cool. And then one of the things I also loved about it, when I am filming things on my Meta glasses, I don't know what's actually in frame and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with that viewfinder popping up on that lens, that's really nice. I do think that it's limited today in the sense of it's Meta's ecosystem, right? So you're using WhatsApp as the messaging platform. So if you're not a WhatsApp user predominantly, you're going to feel a little left out. You're going to
I was looking at like, would I ever want these? It's like, I don't use any of these apps really. Like,
I want my blue Apple, messages
exactly,
on my glasses. That's truly what I want.
Yeah.
I want my Apple photos. I want my photo albums on my glasses. So if you're heavy into Meta's ecosystem, that could be really great. Or if Meta starts to branch out into allowing others in there. I am interested to see, one of the reasons I was contemplating buying it, and I actually probably would have a couple weeks ago if you could.
Yeah, they're hard to get. Yeah.
They're hard to get. And because I would love to play around with the use cases of having this small lens. I think developers are going to have a lot of fun with that, and it'd be fun to be part of that journey. So I still might go get them.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the rollout. You could buy it on this date, and then you go on the website. No, you can't purchase it. You got to do a demo in these 4 cities, and the demo doesn't actually mean you're guaranteed to get a pair of glasses. They might not even have the one that you need.
Yeah, if
And
you do the demo, does that mean you're on a wait list to buy them at that point, kind of thing?
I had heard of people that had gone in with a demo and didn't walk out of the store with glasses because they didn't have the right, because especially if you need a prescription,
Right.
you could have some limited supply there, and the odds that they'll have your
Exact.
prescription there could
Yeah.
be challenged. And I do think eventually, like I'll get them once they start to branch that out, just because
Hmm.
I love being in everything in this space, and
Sure.
I do think they're interesting. But I do want to give Meta credit because they figured out something with their display
Quickly.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, quickly and at a price point. They've got to be losing money on each of those
Yeah,
pairs
because
of glasses
Orion was
to
like,
get
oh,
these
we're
out
a
there.
decade out from this, and they ship this thing, which is not as capable as Orion, but it's something.
Yeah, yeah. And everything we read on that was these are $10,000 plus for each pair of glasses, right?
Yep.
People aren't going to pay for that, but
No.
I do think um,
They're losing
some things
money
I
like
want
they did on the Quest 2. Yeah.
to, yeah, some things I want to give Meta credit for too is, you go back even just a couple years ago, almost every one of the large companies that were in XR had decided they were no longer going to do that. Google was one of them. Like, we're not doing this anymore. And Meta at
Yeah.
that time came out, rebranded the company to Meta. We're going to do this metaverse thing. They got laughed at.
Mm-hmm.
Their stock cratered to $90, and anyone watching was like, you know what? This actually could be really cool. And so they've kind of kept this industry afloat, I would say, more than they get credit for.
Yeah,
But
I
I do
think
think now with
Apple has such a rivalry against them that they're like, we got to beat them to this glasses thing. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
competitive, which they're not competitive in many spaces right now. They're just like kind of nonchalantly like, "Yeah, we're the only tablet anyone wants. Why would we even try that
Yeah.
hard and stuff like that?"
And the glasses probably at first, like they didn't push them as hard. It was kind of like
Mhm.
this exploratory phase. And I remember when I bought mine, I was like, this could be really cool, or this could be just a pair of glasses.
Yeah,
And at first, when I would run into people, they'd be like, "Do your glasses have a camera on them?" And that weirded people out at first. And
yeah.
now I see it where a lot of people have these glasses. It doesn't weird people out as much as it used to. And
Mm-hmm.
now they're buying stock into the Ray-Ban parent company, and
Yeah.
it's truly become like their key focus area for now. So I think it is creating a lot more interest and excitement over this form factor that wouldn't exist unless they were doing it. And so I do think, like, if Apple were to come out with some glasses, it's actually the world's better primed for that today than they would have been without Meta, doing this over the last couple of years, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And I imagine, my brother has a pair, and he loves it for capturing his daughters with
Yeah.
them. It's funny. My she's 3 now. She's at a new funny age where she'll hide from the iPhone for taking pictures. But I ask her, "Do you want a picture with the fancy camera? I'll get my Sony EVZ10 out," and she says yes, and she likes the fancy camera. But imagine
It is true.
glasses are more in more discreet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely get more candid photos and videos with my kids when I
Yeah.
just tap on my
Yep.
glass. The other fun thing about the glasses is I can't even tell you the number of times where I'll put on what I call my dumb glasses now, and that means they don't have a camera or AI built into them. And I'll go to take a photo, and there's no
it's not
button.
there. Yeah. Right.
Oh, it's just glasses, right? So
Yeah.
it's definitely changed how I view it. I don't think I'd ever get a pair of glasses that weren't smart glasses now.
Yeah.
There's just so many good qualities about them, but I really do hope that the rumors are true in the sense that we are getting Apple glasses, but I don't think it's going to be at the detriment of visionOS and the Vision product line. I think Apple's a large enough organization that they could do both. And I think that the lessons they learned from glasses and making things lighter,
Mm-hmm.
and there's going to be some crossover and some benefit to the Vision group, and the things that the Vision group's learning from processing and its capabilities and the screens and those things could ultimately have benefit for a glasses ecosystem. So
Yeah.
I don't see it as it has to be one, not the other. It can be both.
Yeah, and I think from the beginning we all knew this is cutting edge technology. It'll take a while. This isn't like the Apple Watch where it's going to be a quick evolution. It's going to be longer than that just because the tech is so cutting edge and expensive.
Yeah, I put out a post, a reply this weekend that I was just thinking about, and it's been kind of in my brain the last couple of weeks, is we are still learning how to think in 3D, build in 3D, leverage 3D. That doesn't just change overnight because we have something that offers the capability to do that. And you think about when the Apple Watch was introduced, everyone went out and recreated their iOS apps for the watch.
Yeah.
And the majority of those use cases made no sense. And what we also saw in the first year of visionOS was every iOS developer that was interested in visionOS recreated their app for visionOS, which in some cases they added enough to it where it made it interesting and unique. But in a lot of cases, it was exact replica, which didn't really take advantage of what Vision Pro was created to do.
Hmm.
And so I think like that's going to take some time for us to
Yeah.
really think through how to truly maximize this new experience. So it'll take some time, but we're getting there. We're closer to that today than we were 2 years ago for sure.
Yeah. Are you going to look into getting Samsung's XR device? It seems they have like the next generation of what Apple's displays are, and it's like basically a clone of Vision Pro, but from Samsung/Google.
I really want to try it. If I can
Yeah.
get one, I will. The things that get me excited about theirs is the vision intelligence. Right. So you see something you like in your actual view, you circle it pulls it up in their search. There's just those sort of
Hmm.
things that I'm curious to see how Apple goes about that because they've got such a focus on security and privacy that they've limited some of the camera capabilities. Though I did see they've got some APIs now for specific developers where they could leverage the cameras.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to see what Google's doing there. I also love seeing another company in this space that's going to make everyone want to, compete even more and take things to the next level. So long answer for a could have been a quick answer, but that is, yeah, I definitely want to try it. I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah. So, any favorite apps/widgets that kind of go under the radar for you that have kind of impressed you recently?
Yeah, there's several. When I think about Vision Pro, there's some really fun ones, like the Fly app where it's basically pulling in the Google Map
Hmm.
world, but I lean forward or I lean back and it takes me off the ground or puts me on the ground and I could go through Street View and just check out anything. And there's something magical about feeling like you're just on this floating chair in the sky and just
Huh.
going anywhere you want to go on the entire planet.
Yeah.
So if you haven't tried that one, I'd highly recommend it. One that I've been messing around with more lately is that Simply Piano app and learning how to play the piano with mixed reality.
Hmm.
It's very intuitive, right? If I get stumped on a portion of the song, that key just lights up. It's like this little glowing path down to the
Yeah.
key, and that lights up. And they also have done a really great job in gamification for building the habit. So you're taking steps into building and playing the piano.
And will that match
Um,
up to different size pianos? Like I've got like a, I don't know, 4 octave one. They also have like a portable like 1.5 octave piano that's like a smaller MIDI one. Do you know how
I
well it
believe
is?
so.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
believe so because I don't think it's all octaves. I think you're there in that middle section
Okay.
is my
Yeah.
recollection of that. There's also a AI like no piano version where you're putting this keyboard on your
Oh, on
tabletop
table. Okay.
and that's going off your finger tracking. So I'd say that one's still experimental today.
Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
100% great, but the one on the physical piano, so solid. I'm learning
Hmm.
how to play the piano. I've had a piano for years and it's been pretty much decoration in my front room. I'm
Right.
actually learning how to play now.
That's cool.
So that's been really cool. Love the NBA app. It's one of my favorites. Something I've been doing a lot lately is just creating 3D assets
Hmm.
and putting those 3D assets in my space. It's, I think, like going back to so many people are like, what's the app that I need that's going to make this Vision Pro worth it? And it's like, well, what's the app that's going to make your MacBook worth it?
Yeah.
It comes down to the user and what you want to do with it.
Hmm.
It's truly a computer. And so for me lately, it's been using a lot of these AI 3D generation tools to see like which tool is the best
Hmm.
to basically upload an image, create a 3D model, and then put it in my space and play around with that.
Yeah.
Um, from a widgets perspective, I did a video recently. It was like the 44 different widgets I found
Yeah.
on
Because
Vision
on launch
OS.
day, it's like Apple did such a just bad job of showcasing of all the. It's like I want a way of just show me all the updates for widgets, and it's just like it was so hard to find. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's so many widgets out there now, and there's more coming. And I actually love having widgets. Like you see this wall behind me, it's blank. There's nothing on here, but I put my
Yeah.
Vision Pro on and I've got photos here. I've got videos here, or not videos, but photos, weather, music, my calendar, the clock. I've got I think it's called Bluebird, which is like a focus timer. And
Okay.
that's right there on that
Hmm.
wall. So I could pinch on that one and I'm going to dedicate 30 minutes to scripting or 30 minutes to filming.
Yeah.
Here's my time for that. Um, I've been going through lately and creating music through Suno AI and creating songs and putting those songs into my Apple Music and then putting that photo like artwork up onto the wall in the Apple Music app, and that's been fun to just kind of like customize the music widget. Things that I would love to see would be, I think it'd be awesome to have some cool brands. Like I'm a Lululemon fan,
Yeah.
Aloe, Nike, Adidas. Like I would love to have their widget on my wall with their latest drop, like Jordan's. Here's our latest
Mm,
drop. You look over and there it is.
yeah.
I pinch on it and now a 3D model of those sneakers pops out from my wall and they're here on my desk.
Right.
I think that would be amazing. When I go through the widget training from DubDub, you see that there's things like sports widgets, right? So scoreboards, I would love to have like my NBA widget there. And what I love about the demo that they showed for that is as you walk closer to it, it's got that proximity change to it, right? And so it goes from just showing you the score, you move in, now you see stats happening inside of the game as you get closer to the widget. Um, there's so much. That's one thing I love about Apple is their attention to detail is often missed. And it's like they do things and they don't tell you about it. They just hope that someone recognizes it and sees it a
Yeah.
month from now, 6 months from now, and then you find it. It's like, wow, that's a really cool Easter egg. Or, the widgets have like 4 different layers before you even get to the content inside of the widget, just to make it look like it's glass or paper and all these things
Hmm.
that most companies don't pay that much attention to that part of the experience.
Do you have a sense about YouTube? Juno, as we know, got pulled by Christian Selig.
Yeah.
Other apps like Theater and them have YouTube in there, but it's not their only thing they do. We heard maybe that YouTube might have a first-party app because they were angry that Juno was such a big hit, and which was weird because it displayed ads and made people watch YouTube more. So I don't. Do you have a sense of if that app's actually going to come out at some point next year?
I've heard nothing about YouTube. I still have Juno on my
Yeah, me
on my
too. Runs
device.
great.
I've got the test flight for Tubular Pro out there, and so shout out to the developer on that one because it's still accessible. And
Yeah.
I know Reddit has a widget where I can have, or Firefox, sorry, Firefox
Hmm.
has a widget that does like their quick shortcuts. So I've got the Firefox widget on my wall where I can quickly bounce into YouTube through
Oh, nice.
Safari. So there's some options there, but gosh, YouTube really needs to create an app. Netflix really needs to create an app, that's a dedicated app.
Yeah,
There's just
Supercut's
so many
still
different
like my
streaming
go-to
services.
with that. Yeah, but it's so
Yeah,
annoying.
I agree.
And then Paramount Plus is such an interesting app. They got the SpongeBob thing; it's fully interactive, but it does not remember anything about what you've watched. If you exit the video, you're just gonna start from the beginning again. It's bizarre. It doesn't follow the play pause on the AirPods. You can actually watch like Apple TV alongside Paramount because it's not even paying attention to the media. It's bizarre what's going on with that app.
My understanding with some of these developers, some of these big brands is you have these developers that are just so passionate about, we need to have something for Vision Pro, and they'll go out and they'll
Yes.
get dollars. Like they'll finally get some budget to
Yeah.
create an experience. And that could be, hey, we're going to do a SpongeBob environment, and they create
Yeah.
that. And then they're just continuing to fight for more and more dollars. So I think part of it's going to be, what we see with Apple in the next couple of weeks, just in terms of like their continued focus and passion around visionOS and their commitment to it. And I think that will then start to show a lot of these other big brands of like, they continue to double down. We should definitely be more interested in this space. Where I think all of the negative rumor mill, the Vision Pro would have died 12 months ago if we listened to every rumor. But the
Yeah.
the sad reality to that is executives notice those, they pay attention to those, they allocate their funds based on what the headlines are saying. So if you're an executive and you hear they're going to cancel the Vision Pro in 3 months, do you want to spend dollars to build an app for that? Probably not. And
Right.
so I think the more positive press, the more positive indications we get from Apple, which I think we'll get some really good ones this month and beyond. I think we start to see more of these large brands start to create their experiences there. They put more money into Paramount Plus so that it can
Hmm.
track which videos you're watching.
Yeah, that's the most bizarre thing. It's also like I was doing, Survivor was a thing I used to watch a lot of and tried to do in the Vision Pro. It's like this 2-hour episode, like not getting all the way through it. It's like, where was I for my lunch break the next day? It's like, I don't know.
Oh, so it didn't even track where in the video.
No. You just like, if you leave
Yeah, that's
that
tricky.
video, it's not going to save it for your iPhone to watch. And if you go even in the same app, And Vision Pro, it's not going to remember either. It's just like, or if you, I think, even if you like get, I can't see you, it blacks out the whole system. I think in that instance, it would like crash out and you have to start from the beginning again. It's like,
Oh gosh. Yeah, that is fixed.
Yeah.
Well, you and my wife could be friends. She's watched every season of Survivor. There's what, 40,
Yeah,
49 seasons
I've
or
watched
something like
most of
that?
them. Like at some point during the pandemic, it's like, let me binge watch all these, and it's addictive TV. Like it's compelling.
She keeps saying I need to do my video to get on the cast and get in there. And it's about every 3 to 6 months that topic comes up of like, I need to shoot my video. You really should. You
Yeah,
should get on there.
it's a fun show.
It is.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, Dexter was on fire this latest season. They should have had a Dexter environment. That would have been something.
They should have. Yeah. I think that's something that I'm looking for is will Apple create their environments for Apple TV for each of these really popular shows?
Mm-hmm.
Like I know Silo was a really big one. It'd be cool to have a Silo environment. I know Severance was really big and they had showed off at Dub Dub, a Severance environment. I think that's coming.
That'd be so
to
cool.
me, it
Like
would just be
in movies,
yeah.
like imagine like bundling a movie purchase with a environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
There's so much power in that too to kind of set the tone before you watch the content. A
Mm-hmm.
good example of that is the Disney Alien Earth
So good
environment.
There's like an
It's
alien
so
running
good.
around the environment. I don't think it runs around when you play a video, but if you're just
That's right.
going through the app, it does. Yeah.
That's right. Though there is part of me that secretly wishes it would have an alien run around while you're watching it, just kind of creep up
Right.
on. But I'm
And
glad it doesn't.
then the
'cause
pro
it's creepy
tip
enough.
is if you're working on the Mac, you go in developer mode, enable a virtual display while environment sync. You can work with the alien running around while you're on your Mac. That's the fun
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. For anyone who has not tried that, like just putting your headset in developer mode so you can have your Mac's virtual display showing in any immersive environment is so cool.
It
Like,
works so good. I'm surprised it's
does.
not a consumer feature, and they should figure out how to just do visionOS apps, within environments. Like there should be a way of doing that.
Yeah, I think that should be a thing that M5 should just make part of the thing. I think also something I hear from people often that I connect with as well is just like the app switcher, being able to like a control center for all of your apps. It is still clunky to me when I open multiple windows and they're stacked on top of each other and I'm having to move one. Like a good example, you're in the app store, you click open an app, that app pops up right in front of your app store, and now one's half transparent, the other one's kind of there and kind of like just give me a side by side and I pull it down.
Yeah, I wonder if they have the hand thing. I wonder if they do something different for your left hand and do like an app switcher on one, like the command tab thing. We have a keyboard hooked up, like something that would mimic that almost.
That'd be super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Tron, Disney's into the environments. Tron would make for a killer environment with those. But I'm not sure if they would do that just for such a small franchise. But that'd be
killer.
Yeah, because it seems
well,
like
they've done it for others.
Yeah, they have the digital assets already. It seems Tron is so digital. It seems I don't know how hard that is.
If they could do it for what was it, National Geographic Iceland or something like that, they could do it for Tron.
Yep, totally.
They could do it for Tron.
Well, anything we haven't covered that you'd like to before we wrap it up?
No, I think this has been a really great conversation. I think I could probably talk to you about this all day long.
Right?
There's just so many cool things going on.
Yeah, you're probably like me. It's like you're at home and like no one wants to talk to me about this geeky thing.
Yeah, I bring this up to my wife and I love her, but this is not her thing, right? She's got things that I'm not interested in, and so it is awesome to when you meet people that are just as passionate about this space that you can nerd out about it and talk about all the cool things. And I do think it's fun to have conversations with people like yourself that you can see where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's going to take some time for us to get there, but that doesn't discount where we're going, doesn't discount the final state of all this. And it's a pretty exciting future.
Yeah.
So it's always fun to meet people that can see that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting that this is the worst it's ever going to be. And it's pretty incredible. From a hardware perspective, the one thing I really want a wider field of view. Like PSVR 2 having a better field of view is like, I put it on, it's like for the first time, it's like, oh, you eventually get used to it, but it's like, man, increase. I don't know how expensive that'd be to just, let you see more around you.
Yeah. That, and even the lighter would be nice. I do put on the Meta Quest 3 and I instantly feel like, oh yeah, I forgot how light this is
Yeah,
compared to the Vision Pro, and that would also be nice. So
totally.
there's definitely some things, but to your point, it's the worst it's ever going to be.
Yeah,
Like when we start having a wider field of view and it is lighter, and yeah,
yeah.
will we even take them off?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Did you ever get the lens issue or the glass issue where it cracks on it? I've got two of them. The hairline cracks. They're there. It doesn't really bother me that much. But
no, no, I haven't had that either. I don't know if they just sent me the most durable,
right. Yeah.
durable one with the most durable cord, but
Yeah.
no, I look at it often because anytime I see one of those posts online of the hairline crack in the glass, I'm like, I wonder if mine's got it. I'll double check. And
Yeah. No,
to this point,
I've
nothing.
got two of them. One up top, one down below. It's like I didn't hit any walls. It just showed up one day. It's like it's weird.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
gosh, that's when you're pushing it to the limit.
Yeah, and
You're just
Apple,
doing too much.
yeah, I go to Apple. I went to the Genius Bar, and they're like, "We're not quite sure how much this would cost if it'd be covered completely because they just ship every Vision Pro in for service, and they give you the estimates there." Which is, I wish they would have more concrete numbers for if this is covered as part of this is happening to everyone, and we know this is happening, and it's free. Or
I remember buying the Vision Pro, and it was already a lot of money, right? And then there's the Apple Care, and it's like $500, and it's like, oh gosh, I'm gonna put down, close to $4,000 because I did the 512 gig, and
yeah, I did the terabyte,
might as well.
And I'm filling that sucker up. I'm at like 900 gigabytes. Like, yeah,
it could fill up quick, and usually when I'm downloading like Apple Immersive Video through Explore POV or
and then I have a lot of like 3D Blu-rays I've loaded on and stuff
that makes
like
sense.
that. So those are big. Yeah,
1 terabyte for sure. But now like the Apple One, like that's a pretty good.
It's amazing.
Apple Care.
I was paying $25
$19
a month. I was paying $25 a month for a whole year plus, and I can just save $5 and add my iPhone, which I wasn't covering, and iPad. It's great.
Yeah. So when I ordered my iPhone 17, I made sure to get the Apple One, and I'll once my Vision Pro goes off that.
Because you bought the 500 all in advance, or
I think it's still good till February. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we moved away from the topic of eyes. I wasn't sure if you had before. Just the last thing before we wrap it up is simulating far out in the distance, and how Meta's doing it with the glasses where it's close up, and it's a weird thing. And like, would they ever make a Vision Pro where you don't need inserts and just adjust the adapters internally or something like?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm grateful today that we have the lens, like the prescription capabilities, and the way that they've implemented that is really solid.
Because you can have multiple lenses and it knows what you're putting in there. So if you're sharing it, you can actually pop in different ones and just adjust automatically, which is cool.
Yeah. And that is one nice thing about the iOS app is it keeps your prescription in there and your profile, so I can put on a different Vision Pro and it knows
it's different optic ID what it too. Is. Do you know, is there a maximum? Is it just one lens and one no lens, or can you have a bunch of optic ID captures if you have like 5 different lenses? Like, I don't know.
That's a really great question. I don't know. That's a great question.
Because it does capture different optic IDs. So I'm curious what the thresholds are for, like, you can only have one optic ID for, with one without, one with the lens.
Yeah. That's a really good question. I went probably the first 4 or 5 months with my Vision Pro without getting the inserts for the prescription. Yeah. And I thought it was already pretty clear and pretty awesome then. And then I got the inserts and I was like, I should have got these on day one because it's night and day better. And then I did see with visionOS 26, they implemented also an update where you still need the prescription lenses if you need those, but it's made it so that there's, I think for people on the outskirts of those prescriptions, it can also bring them into.
Yeah, if you
that
had,
is that what you understand?
Astigmatism. They added the option for Zeiss to create astigmatism in the prescription, which is really good. Yeah,
I met an awesome guy at the Apple Store at the Visitor Center. Shout out to Jack if he's listening to this, but he had mentioned something to me of like he loves the Vision Pro, but he's got some stuff with his eyes that made it so it didn't work well for him. But my understanding is the recent update would actually help solve the majority of the issues that he had. And so I think, for a lot of people that have vision impairments, this could help. And then also, they talked about like who was testing these, and a lot of people in the early days with these were being tested by people that were blind, and being
wow.
able to use visual intelligence to tell them about their scenes and what's going on around them. And they're talking to Suri to kind of navigate their environment. And I do think from like a vision perspective, instead of like an augmented reality, I think it could be an enhanced reality, enhanced vision. And, you get like a 2x telephotic lens inside of the Vision Pro. And now I could zoom down my street or something like that with my vision versus being limited to what my
if they could add the 4x 8x thing from the iPhone Pro into the Vision Pro, that'd be incredible just for like binocular vision. Yeah.
I looked like a dork doing this, but I went to one of my son's basketball games and I was checking out the accessibilities feature. They've got like a zoom.
Yeah, I played around with that. It's a little blurry, but it's fun to play around with.
It's a little blurry, but you think about if you had like a 2x or a 4x or something like that. But I was just at this basketball game and I had the little zoom in feature up there, that zoom window. And I was watching him on the bench or in the game playing. And I was like, I could see a future where you've got maybe a lighter version of these. And hey, I wanted to track my son playing the game and I could be in the very back of the bleachers, but I'm seeing him crystal clearly,
Totally.
There's some cool things that we could do to actually help people's vision beyond what our current eyes can do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The other weird thing is you're able to get reader lenses in there, like the plus diopters, which is weird because the Vision Pro is simulating distance. So I have no idea when you would opt for, I need reader glasses versus, my understanding is if you need distance vision, even reading text up close, it's kind of simulating distance, which I don't quite understand what's the deal with that.
Yeah, that's a good question there too. Yeah, I'm curious to see how this whole space evolves. And...
Yeah, because eyes are just weird. Like it's bizarre. Like, it's like
they are.
Yeah,
they are.
Anyways, Spatial Insider. What's the YouTube channel? Like you have a URL that's easy to type in there.
Yeah,
for YouTube?
It's just at Spatial Insider. So Spatial Insider on YouTube. We've got Spatial Insider now on X and Threads, and even opened up a TikTok. Haven't been as diligent on my TikTok as I could and should be. Instagram, Spatial Insider, LinkedIn. Follow me at Justin Ryan on LinkedIn. But yeah, I'd love to engage with anyone that's listening to this. If you're just as passionate about Vision Pro and visionOS as we are, sure love to get to know you and connect with you as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Justin. Really appreciate your time to this. It was a really fun chat. Hope to do it again someday.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for inviting me. It's been awesome.
Well, that was my discussion with Justin all about the Vision Pro. Make sure to check out his videos over on YouTube, Spatial Insider, and they are fantastic and definitely worth checking out. As a reminder, you can support this podcast over at visionpros.fm/Patreon or by subscribing in Apple Podcasts. With that, I'll talk with everyone again real soon.